Tech Tales 43, today, May 29th on a Saturday, 5:27 p.m. This is a time slip from May 16th on a Sunday, 8 minutes, 10:30 to 10:38 a.m. For the law office, Papa and Whiskey in that office replied to email inquiry about TPX announcing they entered into an indirect reseller agreement with Ingram Micro, and as a result will purchase all Microsoft licensing through Ingram Micro instead of directly from Microsoft. So Whiskey sent me this email, and we've been through mergers and acquisitions. I've been through it for so many of my clients, going way back in the early days of DSL and independent companies reselling our local phone service, local phone, AT&T or Pacific Bell, reselling their DSL services kind of under their own vanilla package label, and then that company gets bought out by a larger company, that company gets bought out by a larger company, that company gets bought out by a larger company. And every time this happens, things don't always go right. And so here, this one, oh geez, who did we start with for this company? I don't know if I can remember, but it's been through several mergers and acquisitions. So now TPX was a new name of a company previously known as Telepacific, and they were at one point hosting the email for my client because they had acquired another company. I think it was called Arrival Communications, and they had acquired another company. I don't even remember what the name of that one was. But anyway, at one point, Telepacific was going through a change, and they were, I don't know if they were bought out by somebody else or just becoming a larger organization or something, but then they wanted to stop hosting email themselves and have email hosted by Microsoft, which is fine with me, Microsoft 365. But they still have their fingers in the pie somehow. So the way they wanted us to do it is anytime we set up a new email account, they said, oh, it's just simple. You just send us an email and open a ticket, and we'll set it up and we'll let you know. Well, I just started buying directly from Microsoft because I can do that right now, and it's done. And I don't have to wait for somebody to reply or do something on their end. So I did that kind of outside of their intended operation. Now they are going under contract with some other provider, this one called Ingram Micro, so that theoretically, I guess the intention was that I would, they said in their email that I would use the same ordering process and we're going to get the same level of service. Well, I haven't been using their service. I've been buying directly from Microsoft. In our admin console, we've got a subscription from the ISP, which is TPX, and we've got subscriptions directly from Microsoft. And I open and close from Microsoft at will. So this makes me nervous that they're going to somehow force me to do this a different way now. This is the company that actually provides the internet connection for my client, and it's a better, I think it's a better connection than using Comcast or AT&T, but they just have us captive to the way they want to do things, or they're trying to. So far, I've been able to get around that. And they keep promising about, their promises are about what kind of support they'll give. Well, I avoid calling them for support because half the time, or feels like more than half the time, I'm not happy with the results. And I'm always getting somebody that's new and doesn't know what they're doing. So anywho, am I emotional about this? I don't know. I responded to my client telling them that I want to not respond to them, not ask them any questions, just kind of lay low, and hopefully they'll do their transition and we can just continue doing the things the way that we're doing. I don't want to get on anybody's radar about this. So, next time slip on Monday the 17th for the law office Papa, 9:45 a.m. to 11:12 a.m., 1 hour, 27 minutes for Lima in that office. Phone and remote support to recover 1 year of unintentionally deleted emails. Deleted emails were mixed with deleted calendar items, which complicated the recovery. So I don't know how she deleted them. Not concerned about it. It's very easy to select all and then hit a delete button somewhere. So she accidentally or unintentionally deleted emails. And to recover them, we've got to move them from the deleted items folder back to the inbox. Not a big deal, except that there's so many of them. And when I do a select all command and try to drag them all over, it fails because that dragging a calendar item from the deleted items folder to the inbox for email doesn't work. Calendar items don't belong in the email inbox. So what I have to do is take them at sections at a time. And to do this, I don't remember what the number was. I don't know if it was hundreds or thousands, but I would click on one email, then scroll way down, and then shift click on another, try to drag those over, get an error message. So then I change that and I click and I shift click about halfway down that list of emails, drag them over. It works or it doesn't. And based upon whether it works or it doesn't, that tells me that that calendar item is either in the second half or in the first half. So I had to do that process of narrowing down where is the problem, probably, 6 to 10 times. So it took close to an hour and a half to get it all done, because every time I successfully get a section of emails that drag over, it takes a few minutes for that operation to happen. So if there's an easier way to do that, I haven't figured it out. Then next is the law office Papa again, same day on Monday the 17th from 1:21 p.m. to 2:08 p.m., 47 minutes for Mike. Discussed phone extension and computer reconfigurations for new employee, another Mike, and relocating of a third Mike. Connected remotely to each computer to confirm computer locations. Completed worksheet for phone reassignments. So this is an office, so I've talked about before, that we have their computers configured to log in with their personal names, not a generic username. Logging in with a generic username makes it much easier to reassign a person from one computer to another, but when they highly personalize their use of the computers, which is kind of needed for what they do, then it works better for them to actually log in with their username. And so that's the way we do this here. So Mike number one in this office is the manager of the office, and she calls me and tells me who's coming in, who's moving to what desk, and so on. So she explained all of that, and then I'm noting here that I connected remotely to each computer to be sure I had the right ones, because sometimes they'll move somebody and then I'll do the changes afterwards, and does it get fixed in my remote software? to identify the right person. In my remote software, I identify the computers by a physical location in the office with a code that indicates which building the person is in and whether they're on the first floor or the second floor, because they have two buildings on the same piece of property, and both buildings have a first floor and a second floor. So then I also have a 2-digit number that refers to where they are in the entire company. So it starts with a 01, which is one of the servers, and goes through the first floor of the east building, and then the numbers continue to the second floor of the east building, then the numbers continue to the first floor of the west building, and then the numbers continue to the second floor of the west building. Now the ones that are in the first floor of the east building have a code of EG for east ground. And then the ones that are on the second floor are EU, followed by the 2-digit number. EU indicates east building, upper floor. The west building on the ground floor is WG for west ground. The upper floor is WU for west upper floor. So the numbers go sequentially all the way through all of those levels, and the two character letters identify which building and which floor. Then in my coding on my remote software, after the code for where the computer is the user's name, and then is an encrypted indicator of their passwords. Because their passwords, they meet the rules for complex passwords, but there's some level of pattern of how we do it, but there is also variation. So they can't quite sit down at somebody else's computer and know what the password is. It's kind of irrelevant because they don't really have any secret folders from each other. They all pretty much can access any of the data files. The ones that do need to have secret content or secure content are password protected for those files or those programs specifically, but not for the login usernames. So then the last phrase there, I said completed worksheet for phone reassignments. So I've talked about how I manage their phone reassignments. I connect remotely to the manager's computer, launch the software that controls their IP phone system, and I can do the reassignments for usernames and extension numbers and physical phone locations. So this also, the phones have a physical location ID, and they have a extension number ID associated with that physical location ID, and then that extension number associates to the person's name. So sometimes when they move people around, I'm taking somebody's old phone extension and reassigning it to a new employee because the old employee's gone, so we're going to use that extension number for the new employee. And then there's other times where an employee moves from one physical desk to another. Well, now they're going to be using a different physical phone, but we want to keep their same extension number that has been previously assigned to that person. So back in the beginning, the phone extensions had a sequencing that was corresponded to the physical location through the office. That's all out the window now because people have moved around from one office to another, and it's not necessarily about a person promoting to a different level. The senior attorneys in this office have moved from one office to another, from one building to another, because they move people around in ways that make sense somehow to the operation of their business. And I'm not able to predict what's going to happen, so I just have to come up with strategies and ways to be able to accommodate what they ask for when they ask for it, and try to be able to do that quickly. So, wow, I guess that's all I'm going to get through today. I hope that was useful. Have a great day. Catch you later.